Mark can't make it?
Guess not. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Magic Monday. We're so glad that you're here. Jean was not able to make it today, so Terry and I are going to run the show today and hope that we can answer all your questions. So um, l- please do put some questions in the chat, and Terry, tell us what's been going on with you. Why don't you tell the story about that you were just telling me about the
Oh,
bird?
about the bird.
Yes.
Well, sometimes spiritual things happen to us, and we often need help too figuring it out. And so I was just talking to Joan because she has her wonderful bird feather oracle deck. And here in the Northwest, in the Pacific Northwest, we have a bird called a northern flicker. And on the outside, they're just kind of brown looking. They kind of look like a turtle dove a little bit because they have this little bib of color. But when they open their wings or spread their tail, then you see they're completely orange underneath. And they're just a brilliant colored bird. They're so pretty. And they are like a woodpecker. They tap on everything and do that. And so I woke up the other day and walked through my front yard, and there in the middle of the front yard was a northern flicker feather. So this is what they look like on top. They're brown, they have a little bit of white, but when you turn it over, and you can't hardly see because my lights are not quite showing it, but they're perfectly orange, all orange underneath. And so I was asking Joan to look, will you look it up in your deck? What does
Yes.
that mean? It just means new things are coming, new rhythms of life are coming. And I have to say, I think that's right. I feel like new rhythms are coming to me anyway.
That
So how
sounds
much?
cool.
Yeah, I like picking up feathers in my yard. We have lots of crows. In fact, I have a pet crow, and what the pet crow does is, while I'm sitting on my couch in the living room, I have like an L-shaped couch, and I like sitting in the corner of it, and it's against the window. And when the crow wants to be fed, she perches on the gutter of the eaves, and then looks upside down at me. She can see if I'm on the couch. They figured out where I like to sit. And so if I'm in the backyard, they'll land on the roof too, but they won't go upside down just to look at me. So
That's so
yeah.
great that you've got that connection with them. That's wonderful.
I
Yeah.
don't really suggest taming crows. They're loud. She has a nest and she's feeding her babies, and that's why she wants me to feed her. But then eventually, what will happen is she'll bring her babies to be fed too, and the babies have no manners, and they just quack quack quack, and they'll wake you up in the morning, quack quack quack.
Oh, my word. So what do you feed them? Peanuts?
I was feeding her fish, but
Oh,
uh,
my.
but just a little bit of something, whatever I have around that might be healthy for them.
That's great. Oh, my sister was trying to tame crows for the longest time, but she lives out in the country, and people have said it's a little harder there. If you live in town or in a more populated area, they're a little more used to people. So,
Hmm.
that's great.
Well, I should say not so tame as they can like sit on my arm or something. They don't do that. No,
No,
they're not that tame.
but they know to come around and tell you when they're hungry.
Yes, that's
Cool.
all they know.
Well, I want to welcome T. Lynn and Leah and Davy Jones, um, Carolyn Adams, Teresa Hadarian. Thank you so much for coming. Joyful Journey. And so I'm going to mispronounce your first name, so I'm just going to say uh, Surabha Gupta. I'm sorry, I'm sure I got that wrong. Um, Anyhow, thanks everybody for coming and for putting your questions in the chat. There's Lori Hunstiger, Joyful Journey, Sue Toffee, Ellen R. Great. Thanks for being here. Do you want to just, I think I mentioned that Jean couldn't come today, so we
Right.
will be doing this. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Gupta. I really appreciate that. So let's just jump right in and see what we can get.
Yeah.
Leah was here first. So may I ask what toil will help me learn to communicate better with my team? Okay, let's see. This is probably
Right.
something that a lot of people want to know.
What toil will help me learn to communicate better? So by toil, do you think she means like what kind of practice or
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Well, just from a non tapped in view, just from the Terri Suzuki view, um, meditation never hurts because it allows you to have some quiet time to maybe hear or interact with them. Um, they're showing me times like when I went to Japan a few months ago and I had to spend a couple months there, and my I went alone. I didn't go with my husband, and so basically all the time was quiet time because I don't speak Japanese that well. So and I was hearing them a lot. So the quiet time is really important, even if it's not meditation. If that you can just try to sit there and not do your laundry list in your head, you will hear more from them. Um, so go ahead, Joan. I'm going to try to
Okay,
tap in. That was just a
sure.
Terry Suzuki view.
Yeah, the first thing that came to me is consistency. Um, but then I reflected on the fact that I haven't been very consistent lately, and I think, and they brought up something that Terry and I was telling Terry a story beforehand about how, when you're listening to these shows, people have so many, so much advice. Do it this way, do it this way. And it's all, everybody has their own thing to do. But I don't remember the woman's name. I was listening to someone who talked about the unemployed angels and how you should, there's angels out there that have specific tasks, but then there's a bunch of them that just are looking for work. And she wrote a book about the unemployed angels and how you can sit down and make sort of a job description for all the things that need to be done and ask them for help with it. And so that one appealed to me, and I did, because there's like a lot of stuff to be done around the house. And anyhow, so I wrote down a bunch of things, and like that, all of a sudden they were done. I went out for coffee with someone once and said, "Oh, I'm still trying to get rid of a lot of my late husband's things, including," and I said, "So if you know anybody who wants a complete black and white dark room, let me know." And, nobody or very few people have developed their own film and prints anymore. Within a week, she called me and said, "Oh, I've got somebody who would want the dark room." And then I had a friend who I was showing her my house, and my son's saxophone was sitting out, and he wanted me to sell that for him. And she said, "Oh, I know somebody who wants a saxophone." And so that got done without ever having to place an ad anywhere. And it's just been one thing after another. So sometimes when you find something that seems like this is easy, this will solve a problem for me, do it just as sort of a test to see, to just prove that, yeah, this is real. And that inspired me to go, gee, if I can do this just by writing down this list, I need to get back to my meditation practice. So I'm working on that now too. But yeah.
Well, I would have to say, I too have. Everybody has trouble meditating. There's only one person I know that like does it really well, but so again, they're talking to me about the meditation is a good way to get in touch, but to not have too high of expectations. Like they're reminding me that the way I meditate is not the way that everyone else meditates. So you're going to have to find what works for you. But in my meditations, I am not called upon by them to empty my mind for 45 minutes. That's in fact, what they've told me is we just need you to sit still and try to empty your mind for 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. Try not to do your laundry list and how many chores need being done and how many bricks do you want to move today to finish that path that you're building, or, all these things. Just 2 minutes to try to be quiet, and then we'll take you. We'll start talking to you. Your imagination will turn on and we will interact with you that way. The other way that they often interact, so that's just something they're letting me know that you could try. Um, the other thing is just being aware of the nudges. So that's another thing that they do with me. When I was in Japan, it was only nudges. It wasn't like they were talking to me, but I would be walking to the grocery store and they'd say, turn right instead of left. They just give me this feeling, turn right instead of left. And when I obeyed it, I met a person I was supposed to meet that would help me on my next step of my project. And so the same things, a lot of times it was like, go home at this time instead of that time, go turn this way instead of that way, eat this instead of that. Because in the eating this instead of that, I had to go to a different store. And I met at the store, I found the thing I needed to complete the task that I was on. And I wouldn't, if I went to the other place to get the food, I would never have seen this item that I needed. So work with the nudges too.
Yes. Yeah. Um, well, here's Tropical Empress in Spirit and Samantha and Viviani. Nice to see you. Thanks everybody for coming. And thank you for the question, Leah. That was a good one to start off with.
Mhm.
Let's see. I'd love to connect with my father in spirit. Davy, if you could please put your father's first name in the chat, that would be helpful. And then we'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Teresa would love to know how my dad is doing. Oh, kind of the same thing. He passed about 2 years ago. So I should have put this in the notes that we'd love to have first names. Okay, Carolyn, did I meet an earth angel or a leprechaun in Ireland? Ooh,
Hmm.
let's see.
Now this sounds like a good story. I
Yeah.
kind of like to hear.
Okay.
Okay. So right away, I get this knowing. I'll say I hear, but even though I didn't really hear it, I just suddenly know it. It's like this talking in my head saying, does it really matter whether I was an earth angel or I was a leprechaun? But if I had to choose based on kind of what they're showing me and the emotions that they're kind of making me feel, I would have to go with leprechaun. And in that case, you're extremely lucky that you got the help. Extremely lucky, and lucky that the help didn't last super long because you can get in trouble with them too. So I think it was just right.
Wonderful. That's what I got too. Right away, I tuned in and saw, kind of the traditional image of a leprechaun, but then I saw it later as a more, like a leprechaun in human form, uh, and and got the idea that it was, one of the earth spirits, like the fairies and that whole realm, just to kind of bring some magic into your life. I hope
Right.
that makes sense to you. What? Oh, I'd love to hear about the
I
specific.
know. I sense a story here.
Yes. Yes. All right. Let's get back to Davy Jones, who says, um, I'm going to mispronounce this too. Mukesh, Mukesh, is his late father's name. So let's see if I
Okay.
can.
Okay. Gosh. Do you have a message?
There were so many things I'm getting. There were so many things that I held firm to that maybe beliefs that he really was firm about, whether religious or otherwise, that now he realizes they really, that was just one way of viewing things, one way of getting through life. He's much easier about those rules, but he says what holds true, though, were his values. Just, being a good person, being kind to other, being an upstanding citizen. Those I'm seeing like those are the core, and the rest of it was just sort of like fringe around the side, and that blows in the wind, but it's the core of what he the way he acted in the world, and what he tried to pass on to you, that that he still believes was that he's proud of, and he's proud of you, that you are um, that you uphold those values and those basic attitudes about life and being a good person. And let's see if I get a card from the angels from him. I got the heart. So he's sending you love, and this is called Source Return to Oneness. So he's returned to oneness, and is sending you a great deal of love.
When you said return to oneness, my heart just like leapt, and that's the feeling from him. So that's lovely. Well, Mukesh is really kind of showing me very similar things. He keeps taking me to an outside patio, like it's in the summertime or the good weather time, and he's outside on the patio interacting with family. They're playing a game. I don't think it's mahjong. I don't know. It feels like there's tiles in the game. I don't know what the game is. I've never played the game. And what he's really trying to say to me is that those times of ease, when that there was times where they had like family parties, things like that, that now he knows, now he sees that those were far, far more valuable to setting memories, setting things that people could go back and feel the ease when that they were having hard times. They can go back and kind of revisit that time. He regrets not doing more of that, more of the times of ease where that he got to be around family, talk with family, uh, spreading joy, spreading um, knowledge without being pedantic. Um, it's kind of funny that he suddenly said pedantic, like just suddenly, like I wasn't even thinking that word at all, but he's just letting you know that those are actually the memories that you make with people of the loving times, of the more times of ease, are actually more important than the times where you're at work beating your head against the wall, being successful. um, he's just saying, remember to define success in more ways than just money. Yeah.
Beautiful. I hope that was helpful, Davy. And now Teresa's father's name is Alex.
Alex. Okay. Alex. Why not? Hmm. Teresa, I'm kind of curious if you could put it in the chat real quick. It feels like he did not die as a very, very, very old man, that he died, I want to say 60s, 70s, early-ish. And he keeps showing me kind of like hobbies, like cars. He was 94, so he was older. Okay, so that doesn't work. But he is also showing me like cars and being outside and doing that maybe when he was younger, he liked that sort of thing, that he felt vital and needed. Okay, vital and needed. So, Alex, please talk more. I'm going to just marinate a moment. If you have anything, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if he was a real interested in politics or something, but when I close my eyes, the first thing I see is like um those illustrations of Revolutionary War soldiers. And they've got one foot all taped up because they don't have uniforms, and they were in the cold at Valley Forge, and they're a tattered flag that they're carrying. And I keep seeing there's one playing the drum. Uh, and and he keeps focusing on the drum, like drumming up change. And that maybe he's referring to the changes that have been happening as far as the election. So, okay, Alex, let's talk. Is this about? It's about her life. They're okay. It's about your life, just like during those times, and maybe now too. Sometimes big changes need to be made to move forward. So maybe he's encouraging you, even though it might be a hard change to make, that it will launch something good. Um, just like all those who fought in 1776 launched this whole country. It wasn't always pretty and it wasn't always easy, but it led to something wonderful. Alex, anything else? Tell her I love her. Tell her I'll be your drummer boy. Okay, that's what it was, the drummer boy. So if you're facing a tough decision, he said, go ahead and do it, and he'll be right by you. Yeah.
Well, I'm just getting a very simple message, and it's just that he's proud of you, that he's proud of the kind of spiritual path you're going on, that you're, um, there's more than the spiritual path, that now he realizes we each kind of sign up to be on earth at certain times, and that you're in a very, very interesting time. He got to see the beginning of it, kind of like the edges, but now you're really in the heat of the change, and he's really quite proud of you. That's what he's just showing me. He's really quite proud of your progress. Um, I don't know if he believed or not, but he definitely believes now. Is really thrilled.
And yes, she said he had lots of hobbies. He worked with metal and built things. Big time veteran, active in American Legion, lots of
Oh,
posters. After retirement, he built metal pipe buildings to sit
wouldn't work.
instead of
Yeah.
wood ones, and built grills.
Okay.
Cool.
So that explains the outdoor work that he was showing me when he was at a younger, more vital time. Okay. I got it. That makes sense.
And we're jumping back and forth, but I pulled a card and got the Archangel Gabriel, and the message is to speak your truth. So he's right there for you.
Yeah.
That was fun. Thank you, Teresa. I hope some of that was helpful for you. Okay. Let's try Joyful Journey. Will this job I have be a long term job, at least for a year?
Okay.
I think we might have done this one. Let's see what it says.
Well, you know what? I'm going to go pendulum on this a little bit and then check in. I'm going to go pendulum first. Attorney's current job. Last.
Go ahead.
So my pendulum was very confused at first. It was vibrating, which according to Jean, that means it's thinking. And then it finally said yes. And it was a small yes at first that got bigger. So I got the feeling as I was watching it and kind of trying to feel into it that it's a little bit on the edge. It's a little bit on the edge of how long it will last. It seems like you're at the it feels like maybe you're a contract worker and that this is at the behest of your employer, like they could easily at any time say, oh yeah, we don't need her anymore, let her go, and so I'm going to go with the yes. It's going to last longer than a year, but this does not feel permanent at all. It's not like this is going to be for 5 years or anything like that. So,
I got something like that too. Definitely a year. And what I was getting was it could go longer, but it's not them, it's you. There's either you lose interest or you find something you'd like better, and that you're the one who's going to say, to kind of put it into it, to say, yeah, this, it's been real, but I'm off to something else.
yeah.
So
I wouldn't be surprised if something better came along and that she recognizes that it's a different possibility. So,
yeah, but that's nice knowing that it's going to be more your decision rather than otherwise. But thank you for that question. Let's see. Okay, Sue Tuffy. Well, Cats and I move into a shared home for 6 months. Cats and I will move into a home for 6 months. Do you feel we will be approved in the next 2 weeks? These are potential places. Lisa, Amber, Keo, Hamish all have places. Okay. So the main question is, do you feel we will be approved to move into this into a shared home? Okay. Will she be approved in the next 2 weeks?
Next 2 weeks.
I'm getting the Jeopardy music, which means it might be down to the wire. Do, 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 do. It might be down to the wire, but you will be approved.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get a birdie card. And I don't know how this relates, but it's the loon. Messages. Pay attention to your dreams. Messages are drifting in. You might get an idea or an inclination in dream time.
Okay. I also got a yes that you'll get approved to move into the home for 6 months. So let's see, will she be approved in the next 2 weeks? I'm getting a no on that, or it's not so much a no as it doesn't know. It's kind of, so I'm going to actually look at all the places. So will Sue Toffee get a place in Lisa? Will Sue Toffee get a place in Amir? Will Sue Toffee get a place in Keto? Will Sue Toffee get a place in Hamish? Okay, Hamish is the only one it said, and it said yes in Hamish. It didn't move at all for the others. So maybe Hamish, but don't turn it down. If they give you one in Lisa, don't turn it down.
Cool. I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that. Well, I hope it works out for you, Sue, and let us know. We'd love to hear. And I wanted to say hello to Bob Robert and Lachenier. Let's see, I've got your questions. Who else? John Smith, T. Lynn. I'm making sure I get all of these. Wonderful. Thank you for coming, everybody. So, Rob Gupta, do you see me reconciling with someone?
Okay.
Let's see. This is important too. These are all important, but show me another way.
Wow. So
What did you get?
So Rob, I usually I call them in, ask about you. You know, it's kind of I kind of see things on a stage. And right away on my stage, they showed me an old-fashioned, like kind of like a flintlock pistol. They just immediately stuck a pistol down, a really big one. And so I am getting the feeling that you have some things to work through. This pistol is coming from you. It's aimed out towards the future. It says to me that you have a little reconciling to do with yourself and the other person. There's some work to do, especially on your end. Um, they're showing me that this pistol can be dissolved with forgiveness and with love. Um, they're saying you are going to have to let go of a lot of ego. There's some ego involved here. Okay, so now will you tell me, will Sarab be able to do that? They're saying it is up to you. Just a word of advice from Terri Suzuki. Remember, all of this is about love. It's all about love. There is nothing else but love. So try to decide these things in love. So just remember that you are a part of God. You have a little bit of God in you. So does the person you want to reconcile with. Remember, if if that person was actually an angel or standing there, would you talk the same way to that angel? No, you would talk in love. You would talk in a more loving manner. So always err on the side of love.
Beautiful. When I tuned in, I thought, what am I seeing here? Oh, I saw a girl, and she was, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 years old or something. Beautiful long black hair, and she was playing the violin. And, playing, doing really well, had it under her chin. And then the next thing I see, she's got it on her lap, and she's trying to play the violin on her lap. And she's really working hard at it, but it just doesn't sound as, it's not as beautiful as doing it this way. So you can make your own interpretation of that. But to me, that pretty much means trying to reconcile, it's going to be difficult. And you might reconcile for a while, but it won't feel, at least according to this, it won't feel very natural, and it won't be the beautiful music that it might have been before. But that's, your interpretation is the one that really means something. And I did draw a card and got the Archangel of Serenity that has weave a new story. And right on her abdomen here is the yin yang symbol. So it's this symbol of balance, but the actual what it says there is to be serene and think about weaving a new story that maybe would keep you more in balance. So that's what I got. I hope that that makes some sense to you, and I'm sorry if that's not what you were hoping to hear. Okay. She says she understands. All the best to you, my dear. These are difficult things.
Yes.
All right. You know what? I'm going to turn off the banner. Excuse me for a moment. Because we still have 12 questions, and it'll take us a while to get
Halfway
through.
through the time
Yeah,
already.
I know.
Wow.
So let's see. I'm going to skip down a few here.
You know which question I would love to answer?
What one is that?
Lashner's question. For some reason, the second Lashner put it up, it appeared in my head.
Okay, great. Lashner, will I ever be able to travel again?
So, Lashner, I read this wrong. I'll have to tell you right away I read it wrong, but the answer is still the same. I read, will I ever be able to astral travel again? I read. And immediately, so the answer doesn't change. They're showing me the answer because they knew what you asked, not what my head made up. And immediately I see your kind of spiritual body, your body. I see your body, but it looks more like points of light. And you have a little you have a bracelet on your leg that's chained down to the earth. Your body is floating, but you cannot get off the earth. You are chained down. And I asked them, so what does this mean? I mean, and what they're saying is, yes, you will be able to travel again, but right now you are not going to be able to do that. Right now, there are things to learn right where you're at, things to take care of, and things to learn right now. And she said, Lashner, I don't know if you're a he or a she, but 5D versus 3D. You got it. Well, they're showing me both of those in that picture. They're showing me both that right now there's something you need to work on that is kind of holding you down to the earthly existence. You have complete capacity to travel. You have complete capacity to astral travel. That they are, so that 5D is completely possible, but there's just a little bit of things right now you got to work on. So I would go into prayer, meditation, whatever it takes.
That sounds wonderful. When I tuned in, I saw you in a rowboat, either like a crew sculling boat or a rowboat. So you're traveling, you're moving, but you're not seeing where you're going. You're really having to really put your arms into it and really lean into it, but you're looking at where you've been. You're so tell me, what does this really mean? He's not seeing where he's going, but he is going there. He's looking at where he's been. So, what does this mean, Spirit? What does this mean? Okay, they're suggesting to me that uh, one of the ways to get where you want to go is to think about the places where you have been and the traveling you have done, and to kind of just mull that over and think about all the great parts and how fun it was, and just get yourself into that vibe of travel. And so by doing that, you're going to get yourself into the place where you can kind of manifest the place that you're going that you can't quite see yet. So as Terri said, it might not be right away, but this is just thinking about travel. Maybe you want to watch, if there are travel shows on television or travel magazines or whatever, get yourself in the vibe of travel, and consider yourself like you're in the rowboat looking at the places you've been, and that's going to get, while you're rowing, it's going to get you in shape to manifest the thing that's coming up in front of you.
Yeah.
Let's see. And Lesher said, let's make it a Norse boat so I can study the runes. Ooh, that sounds good. Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah.
And
That sounds
maybe that's the thing they're holding you down for right now, to do a little learning there, and then off you go.
perfect. Thanks for that fun question. I appreciate that. Right. Let's see. Well, let's do John Smith. This is always fun. Can I get a general reading on love?
I
Those
love.
are fun to do.
Well, I like it when they put interesting things on the stage. And right away, they put a huge roulette wheel on my stage, like one of those up and down ones that you might, maybe if you're at a fair, it'd be there and you have to spin the wheel and there's a little clicker paddle and eventually it stops on something and you win the prize. So this big roulette wheel's on the stage and I'm like, ooh, okay. And and I got several feelings from it, that you are an adventurous person, that it would appeal to you to spin the wheel. You're a little bit of a gambler in love here. Um, I and that you're adventurous, and that's really cool. And so then I said, spin it. Let's see. And then I tried to really hone in on the where the little clicker paddle was to see what came up. And because I don't know what's on the wheel, you know, I don't know if there were slots for like marriage or dating, or I don't know what it is, but here's what came up. Two aces. It landed on two aces. And it was a spade and a club, aces. And I hope that makes sense to you. It's supposed to mean something more to you than to me, but I got the feeling that they wanted you to be satisfied. In other words, the feeling I got when I saw two aces was the potential, like, oh, why not three aces? Why not four aces? Why not, all the aces, kind of. And they're saying, be happy with this, be happy with two aces. And I don't know if that means two, that you are pairing up with somebody or what, but that's what I got. And so to me, two aces is a winning hand. That's good. And they like that you're adventurous. So there you go. That's what I got.
Great. I haven't hosted for a while, so I'm a little rough on this. But let's see. For John, it's funny. Most of the time I see images right away, but this one was all feeling, which seems appropriate for this question. And the first thing that happened was my heart chakra really lit up, and then my crown chakra lit up. And so I'm kind of feeling like everything starts with love, it starts from the heart, but this might be a spiritual connection that you're going to have with someone. And I got the feeling that this might be someone, when you meet this person, you'll have the feeling that you've known them all your life. And it might be someone that maybe you did know in a different life, if you accept that kind of a interpretation. But uh, it's 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 going to be different than just going out and meeting somebody for a first coffee date or something like that. There'll be a real connection there. And then the throat chakra came. So then you get to talking and finding out areas of common interest and everything like that. But it starts with from your heart that you truly do want to find someone and to have love in your life. And then you're going to make this spiritual connection and then start, bringing it down to earth a little bit. And when I pulled a card for you, I got the Finch, who says, new opportunities and choices are opening to you now, so claim them. So this will be an opportune time for one reason or another, but I think good things are coming your way.
I do too.
We thank you for the question. Let's see. Okay. And I've been hopping around a little bit, but here is Tropical Empress in Spirit. May I ask if my grandmother Rochelle has any messages? Okay, Tropical Empress in Spirit for Rochelle.
So this is interesting. So Rochelle kind of leans down and looks at me really close, like maybe I'm like a little kid. Kind of. She kind of kneels down just a little bit to talk to me, and she's not really talking to me. She's talking to you. And I heard right away, "Ooh, girl, you get going, get going." And so what do you mean, Rochelle? What do you mean get going? She's like, you don't have a minute to waste. What I know of life now is that it is to be lived. It is all an adventure. You're on this grand adventure. Don't let even a little minute go by. Really, what she's kind of saying here, she's showing me like you sitting on the couch, relaxing, scrolling. And she's like, don't let a minute go by wasted. So, in other words, it's okay to scroll, but make sure that's your conscious choice, that it's your conscious choice to enjoy yourself like that. Because Rochelle says, get going, have fun, enjoy this. She's showing me enjoy all the things, even when it's something bad, even when you're fighting with somebody, even all of those things are important because remember, once you get back on the other side, like, because I believe that we reincarnate, recycle, so to speak. You when you're over there, you don't get to experience that. This is the adventure of the lifetime. So she's saying, don't let any grass grow under your feet. Get going, get going. And she's such a
Oops.
happy lady.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me. Can anyone else hear me?
Can other people hear Terri? Can we put that? Is it me or is it Terri?
Somebody tune in. Wow, they just seem frozen. Oh, they hear Terri.
Okay, that means it's me.
Okay. Oh, Auntie can hear us both.
Okay.
Maybe your batteries are going out a little bit on your headset.
This is weird. Other people can hear us, but I can't hear you anymore, Terri.
Oh, no.
So,
well, you know what?
This will be interesting. This one hasn't happened to me before. Okay, so I am going to just go ahead and read. And when I tuned in to Rochelle, what I heard, okay, what I saw was a prism, and it looked kind of like this. This is just a little quartz crystal, but it sort of looks like a prism. And it looks just, it's not fabulous or anything. Um, but then she said then she showed me the rainbow. When the light comes through, it makes this beautiful rainbow. So it's sort of like the idea of don't overlook simple things. They can be pretty magical, which is a little bit like what Terri was saying, and that you don't want to overlook a diamond in the rough. And then I asked, okay, Rochelle, give me some sort of some validation for you so that Tropical Empress knows this is you. And I saw a purse, a dark purse with the handles on the top, and it had some either embroidery or something on the side. It was decorated with a very colorful design on the outside of the purse. So I don't know if that was something that she had or what. This is so weird that I can't hear anything. But that's what I got. And I drew a card for you and got the Kingfisher. Prosperity is flowing. Have faith that you will receive it in perfect form. So I think the diamond in the rough and the prism that can just look like a normal little stone, but it has magic in it and can create the rainbow. That goes along with what Terri was saying about not missing anything. Okay. I'm not quite sure exactly how we're going to do this, but we'll figure it out. Okay, we did that. We did. Excuse me. Let's try this. Mackenzie is saying, is it a good idea to stay friends with Mike? His last relationship ended when she passed away suddenly. Okay, so let's see. Yes. You go first, Terri.
Okay. Okay. There we go. It's going to be a truly blind reading. That's going to be cool. Okay, so here we go. Mackenzie, is it a good idea to stay friends with Mike? His last reason and when she passed away suddenly. Okay, so my heart to Mackenzie. To my heart to Mike's heart. Okay, guides. What do you want to tell Mackenzie about her relationship with Mike? Okay, so your guides are on the stage. They're kind of like in a room with a whiteboard. They're on either side of the whiteboard, and they are, the first thing they do is they nod no to me. They nod no. And then I'm going to ask them, is that for certain that, okay, they're just very sure about that. They're just really doubling down on the no. I don't see anything wrong with him. I don't see any particular anything spiritual that would say don't be with him. I don't see anything like that. It's just I think that your paths are divergent. I think that where he wants to go and where you want to go are just not the same. It's just you'd have a life, but it wouldn't be the fullest life. Always remember it's still your own free will, not the other side's, not mine. So just take that with a grain of salt.
Okay, over to me. This, as you're saying, it really will be a blind reading here. When I tuned in, Mackenzie, I saw you staying friends with him, but I saw you like putting your arm out, like at a distance. Stay connected, but put some space in your togetherness. And if he is still grieving for this person, everybody does grief in their own way. And sometimes you need somebody to just go for a walk and not talk about it, or or if something comes up and it's like, oh, my past, this other person who passed, she always liked to go to baseball games or whatever, just to be able to bring things up more naturally. But I get the idea that what he needs right now is more of a friend to walk side by side with, and not so much as a love interest right now. Um, but then you don't have to be this person's therapist or anything either. Don't get in over your head. Um, but also don't let the fact that he's been through this scare you away. Uh, I get the idea that he just kind of needs a friend right now. And when I pulled a card for you, I got the grouse. Embrace the power of dance and movement to access your highest guidance. So dance and movement, maybe that means, go dancing with them or with a group of other friends, or go for a walk, or just do something that involves movement to get him out of his head, or out of the kind of that darkness of grief. I hope that makes some sense for you. Okay, let's see who we have next here. Let's do another love reading. This is Angie. May I please ask if love is coming my way? I would love your insights.
Okay. So Angie's guys, come and tell me about her love life. Can you show me that a little closer? So, Angie, you're going to have to interpret a lot of this. I am getting that, yes, love is coming your way, but I am not seeing like a long-term relationships. In fact, I'm seeing at least 3 relationships. And kind of like your little social butterfly, that you like go here for a little while and it's like a divot in the road, like a little divot. So maybe you stay with that person for a little while and then you go over to the other side of the road, and it's more like dating. There's no divot, there's no staying. Then you go back to the other side of the road and there's another relationship and there's a little divot in the road. So I'm seeing that there is love coming your way, but maybe these are not so long term. I get the feeling that they want you to explore and be open to new things, um, to have fun with that. And I would be willing to bet that if you have fun in any of your dating, in any of those relationships, I think that's what leads to more permanent stuff. Like I am surprised that this year I've been married 30 years to the same guy who I just was having fun with. Was just doing fun things with. So I do think that's very key to these relationships. I wouldn't be surprised if they led to something more eventually, but I think you got a little bit going on here. So now back to Joan.
Thank you. Oh, I'm going to have to watch or listen to the replay just so I can hear your answers. Angie, when I tuned in, I got, yes, there's love coming your way, but at least at first it's going to start with just sort of a dalliance. And that's not a word I use all the time, but that's the word that came to me. So I'm not sure exactly what that means. It's not going to be like you walk in the door and this is the person I'm going to marry or whatever. It's starting with just sort of something kind of fun to just sort of wake up your heart again and get that love vibe going. And it isn't really heavy and it's like, yeah, whatever. And I'm not sure if it's this person or another person. Maybe this first person might be kind of a warm-up act for the headliner. And the headliner, when I drew cards, the first card I drew was the eagle. You're learning all aspects of spiritual connection and reaching new heights. And when we're talking about reaching new heights in love, that sounds pretty fabulous. And then from the Archangel deck, I got the Archangel of Constance, who's saying, bring heaven to earth. So, yeah, I think the card. I think it's in the cards that love is coming your way, but it's going to start slow. It might the person, and I was getting a timeline of sometime between now and mid fall, like September, October, something like that. This first wave will come, and then after that, the second wave comes. So if you get something kind of seeing someone and then it just sort of fizzles or whatever, don't worry about it. This was the warm-up band for the eagle and the bring heaven to earth cards. So
Ooh,
good luck with
I
that.
like that.
And I am very sorry that we didn't get to more people, but we've gone through an hour and I think I'm just having a little bit of difficulty not being able to fully do this. And I'm sorry we missed some people. We will be back next week, I think, on Mondays. And Terri, why don't you tell people where you're going to be?
Well, the next time you can catch me is going to be this Friday. I will be with the Psychic Triad, which will be Jean and Terry Lee, and we'll be there. And
Yes,
then,
and we will be back in 2 weeks. Actually, it's on a Tuesday this time, on August 6th, and Jean will be with us then too. And I hope that I have my sound problem figured out by then. But thank you so much, everyone, for coming and for your great questions. And we wish you the very best. Enjoy the summer, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.
thank you guys. Thank you.